Will Goldstein here, again, thekingscourt.com. Again, I'm a musician. You can always check out my music at thekingscourt.com or at my channel page. There's 12 links there to everything having to do with where you can listen to music or download my songbooks, PDF songbooks, whatever you like. This is number 9 in C.S. Lewis's book, Screwtape Letters. He doesn't give titles to these, but I'm giving a title to this, Forbidden Pleasures. That ought to give you a clue right off the bat. So again, Screwtape is addressing wormwood. Wormwood, the dryness your patient is going through at present will not give you his soul. It needs to be exploited. That's the way I ended the last video. Trough periods provide excellent opportunity for sensual temptations, particularly those involving sex. Here, the powers of resistance are then at their highest. You want to produce lust. The attack has better success when a man's inner world is drab and cold, when he feels empty inside. And is less likely to lead to the phenomena which humans call being in love. When feeling empty, he's much more likely to be drawn into perversions. At the beginning here, notice how he's connecting these troughs with sex. But he's also saying, well, if he's in love, then it's more about love. But the demon's trying to just get him involved in sex and sexual perversion. And a happy person who was in love is much less likely to do that. But a person who's feeling down and out and desperate and despair, then the demon is trying to exploit this condition in the person. As far as the perversions go, well, there's all kinds of sexual perversions. I don't need to go into all those. But, it could involve adultery or fornication or other types of sexual perversion. Pornography, it could be anything like that. It is the same with other desires of the flesh. Make a drunkard by pressing drink on him when he is weary. Don't encourage him to use it as a means of merriment among his friends when he is happy. When we are dealing with pleasure in its healthy and normal form, we are on the enemy's ground. We have won many a soul through pleasure, but it is his invention, not ours. He made pleasures. All we can do is encourage humans to take pleasures in ways, in degrees, which he has forbidden. So notice what he's saying here, and that's why it's about forbidden pleasures, even going back to sex. Sex within marriage is undefiled. So it's the forbidden pleasure, sex outside of marriage. Alcohol, Jesus drank wine. So if somebody tries to make a case for not drinking any wine, the idea is moderation. So if somebody wants to drink a glass of wine here and there with friends or at a party and merriment, well, that's fine. If somebody is going to the party and getting smashed, well, then that's a different story. Then he's taking it to a different level. If somebody is depressed and sits home and drinks a bottle of wine or a whiskey or whatever, and gets smashed and just in a stupor all night, well, then that's another case. And that's what the demons are trying to do, is exploit the situation. Somebody is much more likely to do that if they are in despair and feeling down and out and empty and perhaps not in love. They have no one that they're really in a love relationship. They're not married. They don't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Things are really drab. We try to work away from the natural condition. Notice there is a natural condition of being in love, a natural condition of having a glass of wine. We try to work away from a natural condition of pleasure with an ever-increasing craving for a diminishing pleasure as the formula. So notice that he says as diminishing pleasure. So in other words, somebody gets into maybe smoking pot or something, and they get really high, and it's all very fun. Well, and then after they do it for a while, then they get stoned out, and then it's diminishing pleasure. Or somebody needs more and more alcohol to get off, or somebody wants to commit fornication, but they can't find somebody. Diminishing pleasure. Make him want it, but not give it to him. That's the idea. Or get him hooked on it and then take away slowly the pleasure from it. That's the formula that he's addressing here. Get the man's soul, give him nothing in return. Well, it's just like I just said. Get the man's soul, get him to want to have some woman maybe, but then not give him the woman. And get the man's soul, give him nothing in return that gladdens our Father's heart. The troughs are the process. So they're exploiting those times when you're feeling down and out, and they're taking advantage of them. So, I've often thought, no matter how low you go in this world, you can always go lower. You're in a trough, you're getting down, well, they're trying to take you down lower and lower and sinking to the bottom. The bottomless pit. There is an ever better way to exploit the trough. Keep knowledge out of his mind. Do not let him suspect the law of undulation, the rising and the falling of emotions. Let him assume the first ardors of his conversion will last forever. His present dryness is a permanent condition fixed in his head. Then tempt him to despair. In other words, when you're feeling down and out and you have a particularly bad day, to be honest with you, my day started off pretty bad today. I haven't had a ticket in 25 years. I got a ticket today. A couple other things went in there, and I even said to myself, this is a bad day. But it's the law of undulation. Things go up and they go down. That's the way your feelings go. That's the way your emotions go. And that's the way you may even feel about your spiritual life. What the demon is saying is, get him to think that it's never going to go away. That's why C.S. Lewis used the word undulation, the rising and the falling, because how many times have you ever felt bad one day and woke up the next morning and you felt fine? Keep him out of the way of experienced Christians. Set him to recover his old feelings. If he is hopeful, make him acquiesce to his low spirit and become content with it, persuading him that it is not so low after all. So in other words, he's trying to get him to backslide. You're in despair. Things are not going the way that you hoped. It's not all as rosy and wonderful as you thought it was. So get him to go back to his old habits, to resume the old lifestyle, and keep him away from Christians is the advice, because they're going to, of course, give him proper advice, hopefully. Make him doubt Christianity. Talk to him about moderation in all things. See, this Christian stuff is way over the top. This is too much, is the idea. Get him thinking that religion is, well, up to a point, because a moderated religion is no religion at all, and more amusing. Notice he says moderated religion, Christianity that's been watered down, Christianity that is forsaking the tenets of Christianity that are in the Bible and have been in Christianity for 2,000 years, and yet in modern day society we have churches that are abandoning those, watering it down, which makes it no Christianity at all. In fact, it can go to the extreme where it has little resemblance to whatever is true Christianity. Before I became a Christian, one day I decided I was going to try out Christianity. I was a yogi. And I looked up in the paper, and I decided to go to a church that was close by. I went to a seance, and I looked over at my friend, who was, we had been doing drugs and whatever, and, I looked at him, we got out of there, I don't think this was a Christian church. That's a true story. Find a good Bible teaching, believing church that preaches Jesus Christ, if you want to find a real church. Attack his faith. Cause him to assume the trough is permanent. This is his religious phase. It's going to die away like all the previous other phases. It's just a phase you're in. You're not going to hang out in here. You're not going to really commit to this. And of course, what does Jesus say? He who endures to the end will be saved. That's red letter from the words of Jesus in the New Testament. He who endures to the end will be saved. It's not just giving Christianity a try to see how it works. It's sticking through it till the end. Make him think, I'm losing interest. This is false. So get him to start questioning all the doctrines. This cannot possibly be true. And then just use jargon and not reason. You don't want to use reason, because reason, if you use logic and reason, then you will ultimately, if you travel that road far enough, you will discover that Christianity is very reasonable and very true. So use jargon instead. Use propaganda. The word phase will do the trick. The creature has been through them before. He always feels superior to the one he has emerged from, because they are in the past. It's just a phase. You know, I look back, I did that when I was young. I've been through that. I know all about it, right? Keep him well fed on hazy ideas of progress and development. Hazy ideas. Make him think that he's progressing and developing into what he will be happy with, when in reality he's actually descending down the bottomless pit if he listens to the demons. Keep his mind off the antithesis between true and false. It was a phase. I've been through all of that as an adolescent. Notice he gets to the idea of true and false. Make him think there is no absolute truth. There's only relativism and situational ethics. There's no real black and white, this is good and this is bad. It's all just gray areas.